Hey YouTube, thanks for joining me for another video. And for the first time, we are coming at you as Living History Militaria. Decided to change up the name a little bit just to really specify what the channel is all about here. So today, we are going to be doing a room tour of what I like to call the battle bunker. This is my war room, all painted, shelves, bookshelves. Everything is all set up the way that I want it to be. Here's a quick tour, quick spin around. Going to be going over everything in detail here in just a second. So I'd like to start off right over here. Got some uniforms. Right here, got a nice Ike jacket. This one belonged to somebody who was in the 8th Air Force. As you can see by this nice felt patch right there. Nice collar discs up here. Behind that, I have the same person's shirt, which also has some nice patches on it as well. Engineer Specialist, 8th Air Force here. Corporal stripes, I believe. Service stripes down here on the sleeve. Awesome to have that. Both of them do have the numbers in there. Next up, I got this really nice jacket right here. Some awesome buttons on the front. This one has the ruptured duck and 8th Air Force here. And 2nd Air Force over here on this sleeve. And I also have this shirt right here with the name on the inside with a regular Army Air Forces patch on the sleeve. And right next to that, I got this shirt right here. Ruptured duck and technical sergeant, I believe, with rank stripes right there, as well as a 3rd Army patch there on the sleeve. Also with the overseas bars here. And lastly, I have this regular shirt, just a ruptured duck on it. No other identifying patches or names or anything like that, but that's okay. Right down here, I have my salty M43 field jacket with M43 jacket detachable hood, which is pretty cool. And if I spin over here to the other side of the door, have a nice Ike jacket right here with German-made 1st Infantry Division patch right there, as well as Private First Class stripe right here. And behind that one, I also have a matching shirt, which is pretty cool. Same thing, German-made 1st Infantry Division patch on the shoulders. Also have this Korean War era Ike jacket, a little bit of moth nippings here on the collar and a little bit on the back. This one, 2nd Armored Division, Hell on Wheels, with I'm pretty sure this is specialist rank. I also have some Vietnam era shirts. This one is just a regular U.S. Air Force shirt, no other identifying patches on that one. Behind that one, have a U.S. Army shirt. No other patches on this one, but this one does have a name on the inside as well as a laundry number. And this one's pretty cool. U.S. Army with a name stripe right there, as well as a couple awesome collar patches. And this one, I believe, is the JFK School for Special Warfare with a airborne tab across the top. And last but not least, have this jacket right here. U.S. Army stripe right there. Laundry number on the inside. As well as these awesome metal buttons on there, which are cool. Also on the sleeve, it looks like there was a patch removed right here. And one right here behind the rank. I'm going to go behind the door here. Got a couple flags hanging up. Got this awesome worn medic flag. A little tear in it, but that's cool because I really like the look of it. As well as a U.S. Army Tennessee Maneuvers 1944 felt pennant, which is pretty cool. And down here we have some sort of signal flag, I believe. Not sure if it's World War II era or not. Now for my favorite part. Let's dive into some patches. Right front and center here, got all the infantry divisions, 1 through, I believe it's 106. But there is a couple of greenbacks in here, which is pretty cool. Got, I believe this is the 27th Infantry Division right here, greenback. 33rd Division right here, as well as the 77th. But all of these are original, and I think this is my favorite display out of all of them. This one right here is special, 40th Infantry Division. This one was taken off of a uniform, and the person who had the uniform served over in the Pacific in Luzon and a couple other of islands over there. And same goes for the 87th Division right here. This one was also taken off a uniform, and the person who wore this served in the Ardennes. And the 71st up here was also taken off of a uniform who served in Germany over in the Hart Mountains, which is pretty cool. And over here we have all the armored divisions, a couple of greenbacks in this collection, as well as 2 4-wheel and 1 8-wheel variation of the tank destroyer forces. Right below that we have a whole bunch of forces and a couple miscellaneous ones, some that are post-war. Pretty cool. This one I think is especially awesome. OT Apprentice for Occupational Therapy. I found this and had to get it because my wife is actually an occupational therapy assistant. So I thought that was pretty cool. A hobby and a career collide. Up here we got Army Corps. Complete set right here, which is pretty awesome. And down below, these are all commands. Some of my favorites in here, the Alaskan Defense Command, variations of the bear, as well as the Icelandic Base Command right here, which has a black backing to it. Down on the bottom, we have a couple of anti-aircraft commands. And over in the middle, these are the Army Air Force patches. The only one that I'm missing out of here is 8, but I have 3 of them on uniforms. And right here are all the armies. And underneath the patch wall, I have my newspapers hanging up. This one is an Illustrated London News from November 20th, 1915, which is pretty cool. And the cool thing about this one is actually I could take this right out of the frame if I wanted and flip through it because it's in such nice condition. Next to that, I have a Syracuse Herald Journal dated August 14th, 1945, which is awesome. And next to that, I have a Syracuse Post-Standard dated August 15th, 1945. Here's a picture of downtown Syracuse going nuts. And I have this radio newspaper dated November 1st, 1918, which is awesome. This was actually folded up in my great-great-grandfather's book, his division book, which I'll show it to you in just a minute. And right here, I have a 1918 print of General Pershing, as you can see right down here in the corner. And right down here, I have an awesome trunk here with the original tags, custom tags and paperwork and whatnot for travel. Inside the trunk were these two, which is an Ike jacket with the 8th Infantry Division right there, and this awesome, super heavy, super warm trench coat with the 8th Infantry Division right there, as well as a specialist rank on the sleeve. And both of those belong to Korean War veteran Leroy F. Hollier, which is awesome. Check out some of these stickers here on the metal trunk. Now this whole wall is all stuff from my grandfather who served in Vietnam. Here's a book on the training center at Fort Dix, where he was stationed. And this right here is my second great-grandfather's book on the 78th Division, which is what he served in. She was in the 303rd Engineers, which is pretty cool. And that newspaper that I told you about earlier was folded up inside this book. This is a 1921 print of the 78th Division in the World War. Right behind that, we have my grandfather's discharge paperwork, which is pretty cool, as well as this awesome little book right here. Inside is a certificate of appreciation for service in the Armed Forces of the United States. And on the other side, another certificate of appreciation, active service from 1969 to 1972. And underneath that shelf, we have a certificate. And this is his Army Commendation Medal certificate right here. Right up top, this is my favorite picture of him. This is him in front of his guard bunker, throwing up the peace sign, sitting cross-legged on the ground, hanging out, having a cigarette. And right down here, a couple more goofy pictures of him. It's him with a buddy. And on the other side, we have his certificate for the Bronze Star Medal, which is pretty awesome. And right down here on this little shelf, I do have his Bronze Star right here in the original box. And as well as his Army Commendation Medal. And also his National Defense Medal. Right here, we just kind of have a random assortment of things. Everything that was on this wall was once in a box. And before my father moved, he called me over. We sat down. We went through everything. And he gave me everything that was in the box. So I thought that was really awesome. It means a whole lot to me, and he knows that too. And he wanted somewhere where everything would be properly displayed. So I told him, no worries. Right here we have some sort of pocket watch. Neat little design on it. On the side, I believe it, Elgin National Watch Company, which is pretty cool. Back is broken and doesn't work, but... And right here we have his belt buckle. And this is probably one of my favorite things that was in this box. This is his Zippo. Still has the flint in it, but no fluid in it. But still happy to have. I mean, he probably carried this with him throughout Vietnam. So, awesome thing to have right there. As well as a couple of metal bracelets right here. Not sure exactly what these are. Also have a whistle right here. A nice chain, and it has a cork ball in the inside of it. And as well as this neat little brooch right here. Pin on the back is broken off, but not sure where he got it, but I think it's a really cool piece anyway. Down here, underneath that shelf, we have a certificate of training for the Leadership Preparation course, and that was in 1969. And right here is his class photo for the Army Finance School, actually. And this was in later of 1969. There's my grandpa right there. And I put together this little shadow box with some of his stuff in it. Have this awesome woven headband. Up top, it says Vietnam. Those are his original dog tags, which my dad later found and mailed to me. Right here, rifle and grenade. His collar disc. And that was his rank. That was the farthest he got. He was a E4 specialist. Not his patch, but something I thought I'd throw in there. As well as his combat infantry badge, which is awesome. And of course, I have a 48-star American flag hanging up near my window. I have a 1941 duffel bag with a name stenciled on it. Got that for $1, so that was pretty cool. Up here I have a 1943 fatigue cap. And right next to that, getting into my U.S. helmets right here. This is a Firestone liner. Marine Corps. The veteran who owned this was part of the military police. And to go with it, here is his 1911 holster, which is a Boyd dated 1944. Back here, this is the first helmet that I ever got almost 2 years ago exactly to the day also. That one is a McCord with a front seam swivel bail. And right next to that, we have my only Schluter helmet, which is also a front seam swivel bail. Pretty nice helmet right there. And way in the back corner over here, this is my summertime flying cap for the Army Air Forces. As you can see by the stamp right up there on the head. That's one of my favorites right there. Got some pretty neat things and some frames over here. I have a Leon Schlesinger picture of a little lightning bug with the 78th Infantry Division logo behind that. Right here is an unidentified group picture. And right below that, a U.S. Navy picture. This is August 1st, 1945, so just before the end of World War II. This is over near the Great Lakes in New York, so that's pretty cool. Also behind that is the original envelope, the mailing envelope, addressed to somebody's mother who lived in Buffalo. And right next to that, I got two pictures of the SS Sedalia Victory. As you can see right here, arrived in San Francisco from Manila in the Philippine Islands, October 14th of 1946. So a whole bunch of troops returning home. Absolutely packed on the deck of the ship. And I also have a whole bunch of World War I pictures. Here's a little clipping from a newspaper, as well as the Rheims Cathedral. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Couple more pictures down here. Here's one of the Peace Monument before, or actually wasn't destroyed, standing amongst the rubble. And Saint Germain down there in 1918. And Zeebrugge, I believe is how it's pronounced. Block ship sunk by the British. Pretty cool. Stop German submarines. And I also have this Memorial Day 1918 poster. And right up here, this is my gas mask carrying bag right here, which goes to this, which is my M2A1 gas mask. The original tubing, all the way back to the original canister. And on the top there, I have a McCord helmet that belonged to a Syracuse veteran. You can still see traces of camo painted on the helmet. And he was part of the 5th Rangers, and actually got to watch his entire interview online. It was about 45 minutes to an hour long, but packed full of information on there, so that was really cool to watch. Got a first aid box for gas casualties. This normally would have been placed on Jeeps. As you can see there, that is empty. And right here, this is my Vietnam setup. There's a McCord under there, World War II era, with a Mitchell pattern cover on the top there. Nixon political campaign button, that's original. And right here we have a bottle of rifle bore cleaner. This is September of 1968, so that one's pretty cool. And I have this gas mask here. Gas mask is dated 1969. Mouthpiece is 1968. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, reverse those two. 69 is the mouthpiece. 68 is the gas mask itself. And this is my Vietnam shelf. I have a couple of angled flashlights. One's got the color discs, the other one doesn't. As well as a later dated Navy flashlight. That one does have the color discs. A little can of foot powder and a little tube of chapstick. Both of those are still full. I have a little piece of trench art right here with a wooden nickel inside. Sea ration can with, I'm not sure if it's 30-06, 30 caliber maybe, belt around it. All those are dated 1969, except for one of these is dated 1970. In the back here, I have a letter from a Vietnam vet who served over 20 years in the military total, but was in Vietnam as a Navy corpsman. So that is 3 pages on his experience in Vietnam. Right over here, I got this neat little book, The Combat Medic, May of 1972. So this is pretty cool. Haven't seen really any of these. A couple pages for notes, a couple things highlighted. Right here I have a 1965 edition of Booby Traps. You can see in here there's a whole bunch of diagrams on all the different booby traps that you might encounter. And in the back we have a 20-round M16 magazine pouch and a patient effects bag right here, which is awesome. And underneath that, this is a Lifetime magazine, Life magazine, June 27th, 1969, and this is entitled The Faces of the American Dead, 1 Week's Toll. So, cool thing about this is you can also flip through that one if you want. Down here, this is my World War II shelf with a whole bunch of stuff on it. Got some medals, World War II Victory Medal, Army of Occupation Medal, and the Asiatic Campaign in the Pacific Medal. And behind that, have a grenade with RFX stamped into it right here. You have a 1943 box of 30 caliber ammo for the M1 carbine, which is pretty cool. And we got a whole lot of ordnance right here. Have a dummy round, 20 millimeter. One of these is a 1943 and the other is a 1944. A whole lot of 50 caliber bullets, including some that are on a belt right in there. A couple of unidentified 1943 rounds right here. A couple of 30-06 rounds for the M1 Garand inside an M1 clip. And this bad boy right here, which is dated 1944, and a 75 millimeter round. Shell casing, at least. Back down here, I got a couple of little bottles of rifle bore cleaner. I have a M1 carbine stripper clip and a belt buckle. A couple of original boxes for the medals. A couple of miscellaneous dog tags. This really nice felt armband for a U.S. Army Air Force Observer, which is pretty cool. Over here, this is just a bunch of random coins from World War II era. These are all steel pennies from 1943. There's 4 of those. A 1942 Walking Liberty $50. I also have this 1963 Indian Head penny, as well as an 1853 penny, which is still in awesome shape. Next shelf down, I got a enlisted man's cap right here with a couple of garrison caps underneath it. I have a couple of bandoliers here. I'm not sure what these are exactly for or where they are from. And I also have a 1942 dated British Bren magazine pouch. Next shelf down, I have a couple of miscellaneous things, mostly canteens and gear, and a 1955 dated U.S. This is for first aid kit pouch. World War II pouch right here with an unopened pack of bandages right here. Mess tin, World War II dated canteens and covers. This one I believe is Korean War. I believe it's a 1951 canteen and cup, and I think the cover is a later date, 1952. So almost all the same year. Got a whole bunch of belts back there, as well as a 1951 dated set of suspenders. And underneath that, a USMC flotation bladder right here, dated June 29th, 1944. And I got a whole bunch of ammo boxes down here as well. A couple of World War II 50 caliber ammo boxes right here, as well as some more modern ones. And I don't know how, but I almost forgot. This is my 1943 Mosin Nagant with a reproduction sling on it. Bought this back when they were relatively cheap. I think I got this for about 180 bucks. Nowadays, they're climbing back up to almost 300. So you can see it right there, 1943 with the hammer and sickle. Pretty awesome. Shoots a 7.62 by 55, or 54, I believe. But that is a real fun thing to take to the range. Over on the side here, this is an M1A2 non-combatant gas mask in the original canvas carrying pouch. Still in awesome shape. Below that, you got some more patches. These are relatively new. These just came in the other day. Department of Antilles, as well as Minesweepers. It's a really cool patch. I love the look of that one. Underneath that, these are all my airborne patches. 2nd Infantry Brigade, that is in 2 pieces. 11th Airborne, which is the connected tab. 13th Airborne has the connected tab. 2 variations of the 17th Airborne. You see the original is on the left. The reverse Talon is on the right here, which I'm absolutely excited to have. 18th Airborne Corps is right here. I have an 82nd Airborne named tab. Belonged to a Dan Hershey. I want to say he was 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, I think. Right there, Airborne Troop Carrier. 2 overseas garrison caps. One is for enlisted man, the other is for officer. And Airborne Command right here in 1 piece. Up top here above the window, I have a original authentic katana. I am too afraid to take it apart, as that's how you find out originally who made it, actually. Taking out this little piece of wood here holds the tang into the handle, and you have to pop that out, and the tang is located in here, which has inscriptions on it, and that way is how you're able to tell who made it. But I definitely don't trust myself to take that apart, so she just sits there above the window for now. I have a yard-long photo down here, unidentified, but looks awesome in the frame. I also have this Type 30 Japanese bayonet, which is in awesome shape. I do believe it was sharpened sometime post-war. But you can see right here, this one was actually made by Toyota. Nice wooden handle, everything's still intact. And underneath that, I have a little Japanese flag. This is a really special item. This is a little vial of sand. But it's not actually sand, it's volcanic ash. And that is from Iwo Jima. Right here is the certificate of authenticity. Buy this from a trusted dealer. That just tells it how he got it. And that is a Syracuse veteran as well. It also has some other sharp and pointy things over here. Like this right here, U.S. Navy Mark II K-bar, which is a little beat up. And right here is a World War II fighting knife made by Camillus. As you can see here. This one is still in awesome shape. And it also has a leather theater-made sheath. And below that, this is my World War I 1918 Plum Bolo knife right here. You can't really see it. You can barely make it out. It says Plum. Underneath that is Philadelphia, and then 1918. Does not have the wood on the handle. And it is definitely in relic condition, but It is an awesome piece to have. And to go with it is a Brower Brothers 1918 Bolo knife sheath. And lastly, we have a 1944 Distin machete with a Bakelite handle. And right up here, these are my Ghost or Phantom Division patches. Only a couple, but I think it's a nice start. Right here, I've got the discharge paperwork for an Auburn, New York veteran who served with the 17th Airborne, and he was in the Battle of the Bulge. And just a quick disclaimer, I do not support the Nazi Party or any of their ideals. This is simply for historical show and tell. Up here, I have a German newspaper, just a single piece, double-sided. Right here, I believe this is an M42. It's either an M40 or an M42 Stahlhelm. What's special about this one is this one was actually dug up in Normandy, France. So this was a bucket list item. It is still in awesome shape. It still has the helmet liner ring on the inside, and really not a whole lot of damage to it. But I can't say the same for these other two. This one right here is an M35. This is a double decal. You can see right about here there is some remnants of the national colors. And on the other side, right over here, the Luftwaffe eagle right here. And it is missing a little bit, you know, just the back corner of the helmet, you know. A couple cracks in it. Nothing that it's, you know, it's not falling apart really. You can still handle it, pick it up and whatnot. And that is sitting on a VM40 gas mask. This was for civilians. But I think it pairs nicely with the Relic helmet on top. So you can see there. I know the filter is also marked somewhere. And right here, this is probably the better condition of the three. Got a crack up top. This is a M40, I believe. You can see right there, a little bit of the decal is still left. What's interesting about this one, however, is this one has quite the bit of battle damage on the back of it here. Right there in the skirting of the helmet. And then right up top, you can see it. Just absolutely flares right out. And this matches up with that in the back. And another entry point right up here on the top. But just a massive blowout here in the back of the helmet. These two were dug up somewhere in Germany together. So that's pretty cool. A couple of relics. And next on the shelf, I have a German canteen right here, as well as a piece of burlap. I'm not sure if this came from, honestly, I'm not sure where it came from, but German Eagle on here. Some 1938 dated 8mm Mauser rounds, still in their clips. Clips are marked, and the rounds are marked as well. Box is dated 1939. I have a nice breast pocket eagle right here patch. Still in decent shape. And a box of matches right here. And it is still full. Never was stricken. In the back here, got a neat little cigarette case that has a skull and crossbones engraved into it, as well as that on the side. And this was dug up, I believe, in Poland. I think that's aluminum, I'm not sure. These also just came in, a couple of Edelweiss patches here, I believe. These are mountain divisions, German mountain divisions. These look like they were unissued, though. These are still in awesome shape, still crisp. And sitting behind that, I have a full sheet of Hitler stamps. Right down here I have some German currency. This one, however, is a little bit different. This one has the Death's Head SS Comp Vita on the top, 1 shilling. And flipped over is the SS logo right there. Pretty interesting. I was told that that was a camp transfer shilling, but I'm not entirely sure. That was also dug up in Poland. Got a 1938 mark right here with Hindenburg on the front. And a nice backing on that. And a couple more pieces of regular German currency during World War II. Down here I have the instruction sheet for a Doughboy prophylactic kit, which is pretty interesting to read there. Here I have an autograph from Edward W. Stone. He's a Syracuse veteran, and he was a sailor during World War II and was actually stationed at Pearl Harbor. And the ship that he was on, I forget exactly, I think it was the USS Pyro, was missed by a bomb by about 12 feet. But he actually saw the first planes come in, and he actually sent me his book. He emailed it to me, so I read through that a little bit, and it's really captivating stuff. And I got a whole bunch of ration books, books 1 through 4. In the back there, I have a 1946 dated pocket Bible. And right down here, this is pretty cool, a little business card for the 31st Fighter Group. Donald Simmons was also a Syracuse veteran. And right over here, here's a postcard from 1943 from 2nd Lieutenant Bob Butts of the Air Force's 6th Bombardment Squadron. So that was cool. I got a couple of pictures right in here too. Down here, this is my World War I shelf. Got a 1918 dated mess kit. No silverware in there, unfortunately. And I also have this, which is a nice minty US 1918 dated canteen with a 1917 Brower Brothers cover there on the top. And on the back, it says Curly, 1199th Company, looks like, and then E. Douglas and Miss is down here. So I'm not sure if that's East Douglas, Mississippi, maybe. Haven't done too much research on that. In the back, here's a couple pictures of bombed France in 1918. There's the city of Rheims, I believe it is. And there's the bombed cathedral. I got this piece of World War I trench art that has been turned from a bullet into a letter opener. This is a 1917 dated 30-06 round. I also have 2 of these. This is a Mauser round dated 1918. And this is a French Lebel round dated 1917. And I have a nice little portrait in there of a World War I soldier in the 4th Corps. Got this cool little button for Liberty Loans in 1917. Behind that, there's a piece of paper money, German, from 1914. A nice Navy yard-long photo that I haven't found a frame for just yet. And right here is something pretty cool. Another Syracuse veteran from World War I. And this is his pocket Bible from 1918. Oops. There's his obituary right here. And behind this is a little piece of paper. It's a little printout on his service history and whatnot. Copies of his discharge paperwork. And I got this for Christmas, along with a couple other things. This is a World War I 30 caliber ammo box. I think it's oak. Does not have a handle on it, unfortunately. But I guess a lot of them don't because it used to be a leather strap and they just rot out over the years. And inside I got a bunch of miscellaneous stuff in here for right now. And down here on my bookshelf, this is my big, huge scrapbook on a Air Force cadet who was tragically killed in a training accident while he was flying. It was a plane crash. So this is an entire scrapbook on his stuff, which is awesome. A lot of good stuff in here. I made a video on that. And I also have my 2 binders of letters from World War II. I made a video on this one as well. Just need to get printer ink so I can type out the letters on this one, but there's a lot of good stuff in there, trust me. And over here I have all of my Life magazine ads from World War II. A couple from later dates, but I don't have anywhere to hang these up just yet, so they're going to hang out right there for now. And lastly, I got a whole bunch of other books down here. These 2 right here, Great War, the First World War, and actually, I believe this one as well was also my great-great-grandfather's from World War I. Those are all 1920s dated books right back there, so a lot of good reading. But that is all I have to show you guys. I want to thank you guys so much. I know this was a little bit of a lengthy video. This is my family wall of military history. I'm going to do an entirely different video on that. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But thank you guys again for sitting through and sharing all this with me. I love, showing off this stuff and just trying to give out as much information as I can. And I also want to hear from you guys too. If you guys have any information, maybe a couple facts on a couple items in here, anything like that, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you want. I do appreciate all of that. And I do like hearing from you guys if you guys have a collection or something in your collection that you'd like to show off. But I will see you guys in the next video. Everybody stay safe and have a good one.